here with the 2250, and we're going to give it a quick run around on the water. We have both motors engaged right now. We have already been running, but these are new motors, so it's not a big deal. Okay, idling down there, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put it up here on a full plane and get our speed and operations. The seat folded up, both controls, both motors are trimmed all the way down. Nope, now they're all the way down. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this into gear and give it a run here. So we're going to add a little bit of throttle. Both motors are running there. And then what we'll do is get this straightened out for a speed run. Adding throttle, going to bring it up to about 3,000 RPMs. Right about there, 3,000 on both motors there. And the boat looks like it's about planing there at about 15 miles an hour. Okay. And we've got good sound, good run. Point the boat straight here. Go ahead and add a little more throttle, bring them up to about 35. Okay, 35. Now the boat's going to probably sit on plane. We are trimmed all the way down. We're not using the trim tabs right now. We're sitting pretty level, pretty almost perfectly level to the horizon there. Okay, and we've got 3,500 RPMs running 21 miles an hour. Go ahead and add some more. Bringing those RPMs on up. We're going to get about 5,000 here. I'm going to bring the trim up a little bit too. Okay, we got a nice cruise there at 31. See the bow's kind of porpoising. I'm going to bring the motors down a little more. There we go. Likes it right there. It's 32 miles an hour, a little over 5,000. There we go, about 5,100 RPMs, 31 miles an hour. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more throttle, bring it up to full throttle. Okay, there's both motors pinned. All right, check out this 2011 Stabicraft 2250 Supercab with the bulkhead. Come and check this out. We'll start up here at the bow and go fast. We got a easy loader galvanized trailer under here. Trailer's probably a 5 out of 10 because it's got some rust and stuff. We'll show you here along the way. Even the brake thingy is broken off. 2-inch ball on here. I know the brakes don't work because it'll slide back and forth, so I know the brakes aren't working. We do have a 1,500 pound big jack on here. We've got the Fulton 2-speed winch with the integrated stanchion here. Those are great, keep the strap from rotting out, and they can gear down real low to pull it on here. We've got the bow pulpit. It does have a roller that goes up here, so kind of look past that. We were thinking about putting a bow mount trolling motor on here, which we could fit a 60-inch shaft Minn Kota on there for a bow mount and miss that rail. So that would be a really cool add-on without having to put a side bracket on here. One thing that's really notable about this is that it has the double keel. They don't do that on the new ones, but that ensures you extremely thick, heavy duty keel. It goes all the way down the back, as you can see. That plate's welded on, and they didn't do that for all years. So that's a really cool option. You're gonna have a 1/2 inch thick aluminum on the bottom of that. Each one of these is chambered separately. Big bow rail too. So when you go up on the front, you definitely have something to hold you in place to hang on to. That's a mega big bow rail, and that's not something you're gonna get on a lot of other boats. This here on the bottom, this is just vinyl wrapped. This is paint on top. There's a couple of chips around here. We'll have some paint condition on the back. We'll show you a nice rub rail here, but this is vinyl. Who knows how long it'll last, but it's just got put on. Big heavy cleats on here that are very hefty. We got the offshore bracket that takes us out a little bit further, a little bit longer. We've got trim tabs on here, and if you notice too, this does have the scuppers on it as well. So it is a wet deck, but it is also has the new design Stabicraft did, which is a collector area with the bilge pump. It has both on this one. Brand new, out of the box Suzuki 115 SS's. These are a brand new model Suzuki came out with, a high performance, and they get along. This boat would do 30 miles an hour. We'll do over 30 miles an hour with a single motor, and we'll plane out with a single motor. The hull itself has 190 hours on it. It had a 150 Yamaha, and that 150 Yamaha was taken off. We wanted to put these new Zooks on it because, well, they look cool and they're a great pair. This boat rides good with more weight to the rear on it, so we did that. Down the side, everything's pretty straight. We have a couple little dents here and there, but very, very minimal. There are chips and stuff, excuse me, but very minimal. Condition on the aluminum is really good. You see the trailer has some rust on the brackets and whatnot. But as you've noticed, the price point, that makes you room for the trailer. Here's the exhaust for the Washdown heater we'll see inside. Okay, let's hop up inside here. My favorite thing about Stabicrafts in general, dude, they're ladders, okay? You get in and out of your boat way more than you do on land than you do in the water. If you just noticed, I just walked into this boat without touching a hand grab or anything. That's ridiculous. I mean, you think about that. I just walked from the ground into this boat without touching on anything. That's only on Stabicrafts can I do that. Nobody else has a big enough platform on their steps. Okay, we've got a rigging station back here. This is actually bolted on, but it is factory done and everything. It could be removed if you needed an extra 10 inches of space. This could come out because, you know, everybody gives a hard time to Stabicrafts. They can handle any kind of water conditions, but the decks are smaller in them. Even though 2250, this has a lot of cabin space, but it also has a lot of deck space too. Big, huge in-floor fish hold. This right here, we are looking at the bottom of the hull. So you can see if there's water in the boat, you can see it right through here. Bilge pump, this has a macerator pump. You can see that tube that pumps out this section here. Everything on this boat is chambered off and welded tight. So you would have to have a lot of holes in this thing for it to actually become unseaworthy. Check out this collector area right here. That's where all the muck goes to get pumped out here. And that all follows through off the deck through the back and around. And you do have scuppers too, but they're hardly even necessary. You've got here your battery switches, house switch, and your automatic voltage relay that will turn on and connect the two when it starts charging. There's our two new batteries in it. Deca deep cycle and a cranking battery for the start. Okay, it does not have downriggers, but it has the the Canon downrigger mounts. A couple of old rigging things. These are from New Zealand. I'm sure we can find some fittings for them. You can put cup holders and different things on it. Here's the tank fill for the diesel heater. So this has the heater in it. Also this step here, that's a big deal too. So step on both sides to get you up and around. Now, I want to show you on the paint here. This has some kind of corrosion on the paint, but it just kind of scrapes off, but we're just leaving it there. Anyhow, grab here, step here, and I'm up and I'm holding onto the rail for a walk around scenario. Got a rail all the way up to the front, and on the brow there's more rails. There's always a place to grab walking all the way up to the front, making that front more utilizable. And then I've got the step to come down into the boat. So they've thought of a lot of things like that. These sliders, you see here, it just kind of slides. There's a stop in here, and then it locks into place. And if you want to lock it back here, you can do that too. See, it locks so it stays in that spot. It's kind of funny how this is foam on here, but we just left it. Same thing here, you can lock this door and latch it right into the back position so these doors don't slide around as you're moving. Okay, coming up into the cab here, compared to the new Stabies, I'm gonna say the old idea was actually better. If I'm sitting here in this, I've got a full bench, 2 people can sit here. If you've seen the cabs in a lot of the new ones, they got those little fold flip downs, which they're nice for storage or keeping space, but they're not nice to sit on. These, you've got a nice little area to cuddle up into here and ride back here. Little cubby holes back here, over here, lots of storage area. Carpet keeps things a little bit quieter in the boat. Access to the fuel tank pickups right there. Fuel tanks under this section. And then, if you notice, and this is something I love about the Stabicraft, is I want to know if I'm taking on water, I'm like, I need to know where. Look, I can access the hole all the way down here. It is chambered off between these 2 bulkheads for the fuel tank, so no water can go there, but there is drain plugs that will allow water out if that's the case. Okay, and then these panels go down and you have a V-berth area. I'm 6'1" and I'm sitting up in the V-berth right here. I'm sure if I go forward more, eventually I hit my head. There is a little bit of a dome here, so I can sit up straight here in this area, but it gets a little bit lower as I get up in here. We've got a nice big, oh, I'm right, hatch to go out with shocks on it so it'll stay up, and then I can get up and out of the boat really easily. I can get up to the bow or stand out of it either way. So this is a really nice setup. 6'1", you can lay down in this and have a nice setup. Okay, another thing I want to show you is we got a full head here. This is a pump out head. This is not just a porta potty. We have a full pump out head. We have the button right here, the pump. We even have the freshwater pickup and drain right here going through the hole. And anywhere this goes through the hole, it's welded to the hole, and then there's a seacock on it to shut that water off. So this boat is very well thought through. Other major brands, I will not say the name, use plastic through holes. It's just ridiculous. Why would you ever do that? They break. We fix them all the time. You're like, why you got plastic under the water line? That's ridiculous. Okay, here's our holding tank. Just showing you for rigging purposes. That's our water holding tank there. And that flushes the toilet there, the head. Anchor locker up here. That just shoots you into your anchor locker. You could mount a winch up in the front too, up here. There's a little mount there, and you can see that's already mounting bracket for a big, for a winch actually, a drum roller for your anchor. Rigging on this is great. There's removable screws all around here and panels to take off for rigging your electronics and whatnot. Makes it way nice. Okay, here we're at the helm. You'll see it when we're driving it more or less, but helm, nice big wide view here. You can see around the boat exceptionally well. We've got plenty of room to mount in the dash. We have not put an electronic suite on this because it's more or less something that you're going to want to pick. So we've kind of left that up to you. There's a little bit of old rigging we took off of here. But here's all the new Suzuki rigging. Here's the ignition, the new shifters on top. It's a binnacle. And then we've got our lanyard there. All of our switches, everything's working there. We've tested all that. We've got the troll mold on these Suzukis. I didn't put a trolling motor on it because you could run one of these 115s so individually by itself. So you could really troll with the Suzukis and not put on a kicker. I mean, there's a lot of, you're only putting hours on a 115. You could also take this boat and run it out offshore with a full-size motor, or with one motor. Pick the other one up. We did it in some of the video, and we've tested it, and it works. Okay, so we got our gauges here. You've got a hold here. You got the flip-up bolsters, so you can stand here and ride. The best suspension is your legs. Grab everywhere. We've got a new Fusion stereo here, speakers here and there. We've got lights here for the cabin area. And then solid welded floors. That's something else, is no water can get into the floor where it can't be handled how it wants to be. Okay, so all of the back deck is the same way. Water does not go into the bilge. This boat keeps the water out of the bilge and pumps it out off of the deck. And so that's another thing that makes them really good. There's some scratches and dings all across the gunwales from weights or whatnot. Like, the boat does have some use, I'm not gonna lie, it has some use, but I'm telling you, it only had 190 hours on the engines, but it's seen some weather and some sun, so we've got a little bit on that. Paint does have some of the typical bubbling. You got a little bit here, you can see a little bit there where you get a little galvanic corrosion underneath it. It's pretty typical on any boat. If you go buy a brand new one, you're probably going to be dealing with it after about 5 years of owning it. Starts to happen, depending on how well you get it cleaned up or not after. However, it's never going to really cause a problem with the boat unless you just left it for 100 years, then it might be a problem. All right, there we go. That's pretty much the overview of the motor, or the boat. Like I said, we got brand new motors on here. You got to equate that into the price of the boat. You're not dealing with an old boat, you're dealing with old motors. You might have a 2011 boat, however, you have 2023 motors that will be brand new, registered to you with full 5-year warranty on them from Suzuki, plus any rebates they might have as well will go on to you as well. Okay, so pretty much you think about that, maybe a new trailer under it or but you've got, if you think about it, for the price that we've got this listed, you got to take those new motors into account. That's $25,000 worth of motors sitting on this boat right now, brand new, and so you're getting a steal of a deal on a Stabicraft hull. I mean, it's a Stabicraft. This isn't play the same game as all the other boats that we use around here. This thing is legit. So come on down here, Florence, Oregon. We're right on Highway 101. As you can see, we're pretty easy to pull into. Sometimes we got a lot of stuff laying around, but lots of room here. And right on Highway 101 right here, and we're ready to make a deal. Let's make this your boat. I think you'll really be happy with this. So I love these boats. Favorite boat in